Are Funding Your Business with Microloans webinar. So are you ready to take the first big step in starting your business, but are stuck wondering how you're going to fund it? So for small business owners who are looking to fund their business under $50,000, microloans might be just the answer you've been searching for. So in this workshop, we'll break down exactly what a microloan is, where to find some trustworthy micro lenders, and I'll show you what you need to get started. And by the end of this webinar, hopefully you'll feel secure enough to get your business funded with microloans and turn that idea into a reality. So let's take a look at everything we need to do today. And let me share my screen for a second. And then we'll get started. So like I said, today we're going to be talking about what a microloan is, how to find a trustworthy microlender, and then how to apply successfully. So if you're interested in getting some one-on-one help and you're already watching this on Zoom, don't worry, you're already a client and you can actually give us a call to schedule an appointment to meet with a consultant to help you set up your business plan, documents, and everything you need to apply for a microloan. So throughout the session, we'll give you some links and resources, and you want to check those regularly to see what we have, but we'll send everything to you after the webinar, just in case you missed anything. So let's get started. And the first thing we need to do before we get into what is how to apply for a microloan, let's talk about what is a microloan. So a microloan is any small business loan that is up to $50,000, and really it's for small businesses and some select nonprofits. And typically it's designed to help small business owners fund their financial needs. And what that means is it's usually for working capital, payroll, equipment purchases, marketing, and a couple other things. The other thing you need to know about a microloan is that the average microloan is usually about $13,000. And terms are different for microloans than there are typical loans. You know, the maximum is usually about 6 years, and the interest rates will range from approximately 8 to 13%, depending on the lender. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. But another tip about microloans is that you probably shouldn't borrow any more than 10 to 20% of your annual revenue to maintain financial health. And some microlenders might hold you to that, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. And the last thing is we're going to talk to you about how to find a microlender. And these are usually approved intermediaries that are SBA approved lenders. And they are the ones who make all the credit decisions, underwriting, and set all the terms for your microloan. And we're going to compare and contrast a couple of those other things so we can get more into how that actually works. But let's transition over to the SBA because they have some really good information about the loans. So for here, we have some microlenders or some microloan information. A lot of this stuff we already talked about. What a microloan is, how are you eligible, what the uses are, and how you might be able to apply through intermediaries. But what if you don't have an intermediary or an SBA microlender you want to work with? Well, you can actually find one, and we'll go to Find Microlender here. And this might take a little bit. Here we go. And so these are the list of microlenders in all of the United States. But what if you want to find one in your local area, for example, California? So we'll go here and we'll filter out those that are available. And so now we have an entire list of SBA approved microlenders that the SBA wants to, let you know who can you borrow from. Now, you can download this list here for download as a spreadsheet and get the information that you need. Now, this is not an exhaustive list because there are some microlenders that we're going to talk about that aren't on this list. And we're going to compare and contrast some ones that we work with that you might want to be, or that you might be interested in, so you can get a little bit more information about how that actually works. So let's go back to our transition to our slideshow here, and let's move on. So there are a few microlenders that we have or we work with specifically that you might want to take a look at, that some of them are on this list and some of them are not. So let's run through those a little bit and see what they compare to. And you will get this slideshow and these slides, and these are all linked to different microlenders with all their information here in case you want to look at one a little bit later. But for the most part, we have 5 microlenders: TMC, JFLA, AMPAC, CDC, and Axion Opportunity Fund. And so for the most part, like I said, the range from 0 to under $50,000. And so some of them actually have $50,000, some of them don't. And also there might be minimum funding ranges. So the minimum for TMC, say, is $5,000. You couldn't do less than $5,000. Some of them are 75, and some of them don't have a minimum lending requirement. So that might be something you want to compare and contrast if you're interested in getting less than what the minimums are here. The next thing you want to look at is going to be interest rates. As I mentioned before, the microlenders are going to be anywhere between 8 to 13% depending on the lender. Some of them are more, some of them are less. For example, TMC right here is 7.5 to 10%, which is between 8 and 13. But for example, JFLA right here is a 0 interest microloan. Now, that 0 interest does come with a few catches that we'll talk about in just a bit. But you see AMPAC is 7 to 11%. CDC Small Business Finance is fixed at 9.5%. And that also comes with some catches and other things that in the underwriting process. And then Axion starts from 8.49 and goes up from there. Now, when it comes to getting a microloan, the other thing you want to look at is if you need to be in business for a particular amount of time. Sometimes you need to be in business for a year, like TMC and Axion requires you to be in business for a year. So startups are not going to have that kind of advantage. But for 3 of these, they don't have a minimum time in business. So if you are looking to fund your startup, then these 3 are the ones you might want to take a look at if you're looking to get started. Other thing is going to be credit score. Most of the time, and we do get some questions about this, is we do get a lot of people who say, I don't really have good credit, or I don't really know what credit I need to be at for a microloan. Well, in this table we have right here, we see that there are 3 of them that don't require a minimum credit score. They work with you a little bit more. You do want to check with the microlender to make sure that that is that your credit score is where it needs to be. But for the most part, according to their websites, if you want to take a look at them through here, they do not have a minimum credit score. With JFLA, they have a 580 to 680 minimum credit score. And so if you don't have, if your credit is not where you would like it for a normal SBA or commercial banking loan, then you might want to look at a microloan to see if this works for you. Same thing with Axion. They have a minimum credit score of 600 going up from there. Obviously, the better the credit, the easier it is for them to lend to you. But this is more of a reference point for you just in case this meets your situation. And so then there are other features when it comes to microloans that you want to take a look at. and some other terms and conditions. So for TMC, we'll just run through these really quick. TMC is for for-profit companies in California only. So they don't do nonprofits and they only lend to for-profits. The other thing is that an interesting detail is that they allow ITINs. So if you are not a citizen, you're a permanent resident, have a green card, and only an ITIN, you can borrow from them without a social security number. And you'll just have to check with them to make sure that you have that information in your application. With JFLA, there is a guarantor that is required for applying with them. So because you have a lower credit score and they don't provide interest, you may need a guarantor for a certain amount of money that you're applying for. So it could be anywhere, I believe it's up to $12,000 for one guarantor, and for the full 25, it's going to be two. But they also lend to nonprofits. So that might be something if you're a nonprofit or looking to start a nonprofit, they might be an option for you when it comes to funding or getting started with that organization. The other thing is going to be like AMPAC, where they require collateral and a $100 application fee. So far, we haven't really talked about application fees, but that might be something you want to look at. If you can deal with an application fee, that might be something that you can do as an option, and they also will give you more money or offer more money. So again, weighing those pros and cons when it comes to getting the microloan. And then for CDC, they do offer some advising, and we often work with them for some clients who are looking to get loans through CDC, and we help them with business planning and some other things to help them with the application, which we'll talk about a little bit later. And then finally with Axiom, they do work with you more on the repayment plans and things like that, so you can get the best terms for your business and your situation. Alrighty, so let's get started with applying for a business loan. And I know I've thrown out a lot of information, so we'll get to a little bit more about how we can navigate this process. So the first thing is, anytime you're getting a loan, no matter what, even if it's a microloan, you want to plan for your business needs. Now, what does that mean? It means budgeting. Knowing how much you're going to need for your business and not saying, well, however much I can get. That's usually a red flag when it comes to getting a loan. You don't want to just say how much I can get. You want to know exactly how much you need and if a microloan is good for you. If you need something more than $50,000, a microloan is not going to cut it. And so you don't want to go back looking for more money. You want to know exactly how much you have and need. So then the next thing is you want to, once you have how much you need, you want to research your lender and see who provides the best fit for your needs. Now, as I mentioned, if you are looking for a microloan of say $30,000, if you go back to our list for the microlenders, some of them might not be able to do that. Specifically JFLA, they only do 25,000. So if you're doing more than 25,000, you're not going to be able to get what you need for startup for that business. So you may want to look at another lender to make sure that that meets your needs. The next thing is going to be gathering the necessary documents, and this will vary by lender. So we'll talk about what documents you're going to need, generally speaking, when it comes to the microloans and the microlenders. And so, but you need to know that there are going to be some other documents that you're going to need for the application. And so you'll need to know what those are and how to put that together so that you can maximize the chance of you getting the loan. And then the other thing is going to be you're applying online or virtually. Nowadays, you're actually able to go to their website and apply online and even meet with a loan officer virtually via Zoom, Skype, Google Meet or anything else, and kind of work with them and figure out what your initial needs are, and helping them put together all that stuff that you need for the actually application. And then you would work with a SBDC advisor or anybody else to put those things together so you can actually finish the application. And then the final thing is to review your offer and finalize your loan. You want to make sure all the terms and conditions are met, and you want to make sure that it's going to be the best for your business as far as interest rates and repayment terms for your business and loan. So once we have figured out what the process kind of looks like, it's now time to look at documentation. Now, like I said, there are some certain documents that you're going to need to put together your application. And generally speaking, most lenders are going to want these documents. They may ask for more, they may ask for less, but for the most part, when it comes to microloans, this is probably what they're going to be asking for. And this is what an advisor might be able to help you with. So the first thing is going to be a business plan or projections. Now, as I said before, you're going to need to know what your needs are. And a business plan or some kind of financial projection or financial statements will mark that out when it comes to the business loan. So you want to have those documents ready. If you're a startup, a business plan and some pro forma projections are what's going to be needed. If you are a existing business and you need a microloan to help you grow, then you'll probably need some kind of financial statements and projections to show just the financial history and health of the business for them to be a little bit more comfortable for them lending to you. And so the next thing is going to be tax returns. The microlender may ask for tax returns, and so it's going to be a couple of different types. So if you are a startup, then they're probably going to ask you for personal tax returns because that's where most of your income and your financials are going to come from, what you have stated in the IRS. If you're an existing business, business tax returns are going to be what they're going to ask for, and they may ask for personal as well, but for the most part, they're going to be asking for business tax returns because that's going to show the history of what the business is making and what you're reporting to the IRS. The next thing is going to be proof of business ownership. So any kind of formation documents, DBAs, business licenses, the articles of organization for an LLC or of incorporation for C Corps and S Corps and things like that. You're going to need those documents, and they may ask for those things to show that you are a business and when you've been operating, and just some other formation documents that you're going to have that show proof of business ownership. And one of the other important things is going to be some photo ID. If you are applying and you are needing a guarantor, or if you're applying as a sole proprietorship, they need to know you are who you say you are and to make sure that they have records of who is applying for the business loan and there's no fraud going. So now that you understand what goes into the business loan, the micro business loan, the SBDC, as far as the University of Verne SBDC, helps small businesses with business loans by providing critical and no cost or low cost assistance to entrepreneurs looking to get started with their business. For us, we don't charge anything for any of our consulting or resources, and we do put a lot of thought and effort into all the resources that we give to you. We have guides online, we have webinars just like this one, and so we provide a lot of assistance when it comes to helping people get microloans or any kind of SBA loan to help support their business. And so there are a couple of things that we do that you would need help with if you are applying for a microloan. We'll talk about those things right now. So the first thing is going to be business planning assistance. And so, like I said, you're going to need to know those needs assessments for your business. And what we do is we help you create a comprehensive business plan that outlines your goals, how much money you need, the strategies, and the growth projections. Because the biggest thing about a microloan is the lender is going to want to know the answer to 3 questions. And that's going to be, how much are you asking for? What are you going to be spending the money on? And how are you going to pay me back? And so this is a huge component when it comes to the micro lender and them being comfortable in actually approving the loan and giving you the money. The next thing we help with is going to be the financial projections. And again, this is assisting you in creating those financial statements and projections and letting the lender know, how are you going to be able to pay them back? How are you going to be able to make money? Are you going to be able to make money and pay back the loan in a certain or in a reasonable amount of time? And is this business going to be available or running in the next 2 to 5 years? And most businesses fail in the first 5 years. So you want to make sure that you are sustainable enough to actually stay in business for a long period of time. So next thing is going to be licenses and permits. As the SBDC, we help people navigate and set up licenses and permits, get registered with the state or the county if needed. But a lot of this stuff is going to be back to when we talked about those ownership documents. Registering your business as a DBA or LLC, getting yourself those ownership or business entity documents, licenses and permits and things you're going to need to operate. The lender may want to see all of that. And so you want to make sure that you have those documents available and that you're going to be running and operating compliantly when it comes to, after you get your business loan and you're running the business. And so we provide guidance on that. We have a tool that we use to pull the licenses and permits that are needed for your particular location and industry that helps you stay compliant and avoid any fines when it comes to operating. And the final thing is partnerships. So we work with a lot of micro lenders, just like we did in the table, such as CDC Small Business Finance or Axion, JFLA. We've worked with them and we offer complimentary advisory services for what they offer as well. And so with the SBDC, we can improve your application's chances by demonstrating, sound financial planning, those projections, the business plan. They help you demonstrate that you are going to be a successful business and you have a strategy on how you're going to grow and run a sustainable company. So all the stuff that we talked about, we'll check out. We talked about the list of microlenders and we'll forward that to you as the slideshow, and you can actually visit their websites, take a look at the application portals, and see if it's right for you. And then the other thing is that we encourage you to contact us at the University of Verne SBDC or your local SBDC to work with somebody on getting a small business loan, a business plan if you need it, financial projections if you need them. And we can also forward you our guides on lending if you need them, and especially one on the 5 C's of credit for improving your loan chances, talking about FICO scores, gathering capital or collateral for your for the application, and helping you maximize the chance of getting a business loan. And then the other thing is going to be forwarding all that information and helping you with the business plan. We actually have a business planning tool done online, and we have basically reverse engineered it for lenders who are getting that, who are underwriting, and giving them the information that they need so that they can approve, startup or business, currently operating businesses, give them and maximize the chance for them to get funded, grow, marketing, everything that they need. And we have gotten a lot of feedback on that, always improving it. And we've gotten a lot of people some access to capital for them to actually run their businesses and grow their businesses. But microloans themselves are a powerful tool to help you start or grow your business. With flexible funding options and expert resources like ours at the University of Verne SBDC, you now have the support that you need to succeed. And then with the right planning and the right resources, your business is within reach if you're just starting up, or if you're looking to grow, you have the tools to do it. So thanks for watching. We do have another webinar if you want to register for it. The next one is going to be on starting your first email marketing campaign. And I'll be back to do that webinar. But if you want to register, take a look at our upcoming webinars and all of our on-demand resources for you to learn more about how to start your business and how to grow your business. But thanks for watching, and then we